In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to create a WordPress user if you don't have access to WordPress, but you have FTP or SFTP access. Occasionally, people will say, I need you to work on the website, and I don't know anything. Here's what I have. And this actually happened to me this morning. Someone sent me credentials, and they were where the website is, and here's SFTP information, but no WordPress login, which makes it difficult for us to log into WordPress, obviously. So I'm going to show you guys a little snippet of code that I use somewhat regularly to create a user on the fly, assuming you have SFTP or FTP access to the site. So let me change views here, and I have this little backdoor for wp.php file. I'm going to open it up here in brackets and see if I can make this any bigger. I'm going to ignore that error. I'm going to... Alright, so I had this open twice here. Okay, but basically, let me explain this code. Can I make it bigger? I can. Alright, cool. Let me see if I can make that fully readable. All right, so I'm gonna explain the code, exactly what's going on here, and I'll show you how we create the user on the fly here. So basically, we're going to in the WP head, which fires relatively early at the beginning of the page here. We're going to use the action WP head, and we're going to call a function called sec. This could be called create a user if you want to. It doesn't really matter. What's important is that we're calling the function. This name needs to match this name. And actually, I don't actually even like the function name create create a user, because that could be used somewhere. So we'll prefix it with AR for my initials, create a user, and we'll make sure that matches. So when we call this function, it's going to call, or when you run this action, we're going to call this function. And what this does is it's going to check the URL and make sure that the security key equals this. Now, really, this could be 123, could be slightly shorter. 1234. We'll call it that for now, and I'll explain how to do that. But basically, what we're doing is we're going to, if the URL that is hit matches security key equals 1234, then require the registration.php file, and if the username does not exist of test email with the username this and the password this. So let me update this. So we're going to call this Aaron. So this is going to create a user named Aaron with the username Aaron, and the password is some kind of password. Some kind of password. And so it's going to take the array here that is, or it's going to call this function create user with this username and this password, and passes that information in here to the new user, and it sets the rule of administrator. Okay, so that's the function, but now we've got to, where do we actually put the code to have it fired? Well, that depends. It very well could be that you're running the WordPress 2023 theme, which sounds real weird for me. And in this case, I am. So what I want to do is I want to run this function on the active theme, whatever it is. If it's a child theme, you need to take this snippet of code here and drop it into the child themes. Or actually, I guess it probably would work. Would it work? That should work on the parent theme, but I put it in the child theme. You're always supposed to touch only the child theme. So, but anyway, you put the function in the active theme. So I know that this is 2023, and this is a local environment that I have set up here. Just so I'm going to get to the files here. So I'm going to go to the site folder. I'm going to go here to public. I'm going to go into the content, go into the themes, and I know it's 2023 theme. So I'm going to modify the functions.php file that does not exist, which is funny. I totally forgot that this is going to be slightly different. So I might have to create the functions.php file. Those files should exist in 2021. It's going to have that. Anyway, I'm going to create a functions.php file. I'm not that familiar with the 2023 theme, as it is only, well, I almost said it's February. It's not. It's March. It's March now, but March of 2023. And I just don't use this theme often. But so hopefully this will work. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to manually do this doing command line. So I'm going to open. Okay, I'm not going to open a shell. But I'll do it this way. Terminal. I'm going to go into my CD. That's real small for you guys. Sorry about that. So I'm going to go into CD. Local sites. So I'm going to be one site there. I'm going to go into WordPress. Going to go into apps. Then I'm going to go into public. All right, so now we're looking very WordPressy. There's all the WordPress files. So if you're familiar with WordPress, you'll probably know where to go. You want to CD into your WP content directory. Then go into your themes directory. Go into your whatever the active theme is. I know that this is the 2023 theme here, so I'm going to go into that directory. I'm going to touch the functions.php file. That file doesn't exist right now. I'm hoping that this 2023 actually runs that code. So let's see. So I'm going to edit the functions.php file. So if you already have a website and you're actually following this on YouTube, basically you just need to get into the active themes directory and edit your functions.php file. My file is completely blank because it didn't exist. So let me just go ahead and basically there'll be some kind of like PHP function here, whatever, some function. There'll be stuff there, and basically just get to the bottom of your file, and you can use any text editor to do this. And basically, you're going to want to drop this snippet of code in, which, as I sit here and think about this, I need to give you guys this snippet of code or put it somewhere. So I'll make sure that that's accessible on YouTube when I'm done here. But we're taking, we don't need the opening PHP tag because your functions.php file probably is already has that. But I'm going to drop this in here. I'm going to hit paste, and basically that is all we need to do. And so the file is written. Now what it isn't doing here is it's not, when I go and I hit this page, it's doing nothing. It's never going to run the code because of we're not telling it to run the code. What we need to do on every page load, it does a get, and we need the link to have security key and 1234 in there. So the way we do this is we pass two variables in. Security key equals 1234. That's all we need to do. that's going to, when I load the page, it's going to say, it's going to do this get. It's going to get the URL. It's going to look at security key and see if it equals 1234. And if it does, it's going to run the functions that are here. So we use the get function. We get the security key. We test to make sure it equals 1234. And then if it does, it's going to create a user named Aaron with a password of some kind of password. I'm not saying that's a great security thing there with that password being that not funky characters and stuff like that. Doesn't really matter. This is just I'm just doing this as an example. And when we're done too, we also want to remove the snippet because it doesn't need to run once my user has been created. So what I want to do, this actually might all fail and I might have to redo this video. I hope not, but I'm going to hit enter here. It's going to look like I did nothing, but PHP is really fast, and if security key equals 1234, it should have run the function. So let's look. I'm going to go to local. This is a local environment here. I'm going to go into the database here. I'm going to open I don't know how to pronounce that, but anyway, we're going to go into the users directory here and see if we see multiple users. Select data. There we go. All right. See, that created a user with that password. So that's a good thing. I'm going to run it again just to prove that that wasn't created automatically here or something to that effect. So let me go over here. I'm going to close this. I'm going to open the functions.php file in brackets, whatever your editor is. So you're going to want to FTP into your server, get into the active theme, edit the functions.php file. Oh, it's going to throw some errors like it did before. Oh, yeah, there it goes. All right, so let's create a user called Bob with the username Bob with the same password. And we'll make him an editor. I mean, this is, I'll set it back to administrator. I'm just using this as an example. Straightor. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to make sure that I hit security key equals 1234. The URL still, security key still equals 1234, so I'm going to hit enter. And now we should have a second user named Bob. All right, so I hope that makes sense to you guys. I will try to remember to give you guys this snippet of code in here. And again, it just comes in handy when you've been given FTP access, but no one has the password to WordPress. That's a way to create it. And then when you're done, make sure you go in and you remove that code. That is I wouldn't say it's a major security risk because all it's going to do is create that user. But if people were to see that code, they know it exists, they would know what the password is. So you want to make sure you remove that back door when you're done and you have your user created. All right. See you guys.